Hey peeps, we are back. We're talking the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 10. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. All right now peeps, before we get into this lackluster episode, Marge is being sued again. I said, you know what? It is so weird to me how after all of these many lawsuits that Marge has been a part of, that only one of her lawsuits have actually made it on the show. Everything else seems to be glossed over. Nobody brings it up. And it makes me wonder, maybe it's because of the arsenal of stuff that she has on all the girls, that she's let them know that they better not bring up her lawsuits. I don't know. But right now we have here that's being reported by the U.S. Sun that Margaret and her husband Joe are being sued for $20,000 after refusing to pay their accountant for his tax services. It says the Real Housewives of New Jersey star Margaret Joseph and her husband Joe Bellino are being sued for $20,000 by their former accountant, Stephen B. Wetter. A certified public accountant based in New York City and New Jersey filed a complaint in New Jersey court on February 24th against the Real Housewives star and her husband. In the filing obtained by the U.S. Sun, Stephen writes that he was retained by the defendants to prepare financial statements and related tax returns from 2008 until 2019 and 2020. About 3 years ago, they stopped paying me for the work that I performed. Now, here's where I have to say, who the hell works for 3 years without payments? Not me. I'm not giving you 3 seconds without payments. I'm sorry. I'm working here. Okay, I want to be paid for my services. Anyway, he says, eventually I stopped working for them. They say they have no money, but I believe this is untrue. Honey, now listen. I mean, if there's somewhere that people can get away with not paying because they say that they have no money, I want to go there. I'm just saying, I don't have any money. Stephen is representing himself and demanding $15,000 plus $5,000 in legal fees. So that makes the total of $20,000. The man says that Margaret has been involved in a lot of lawsuits. So we know that. He says that they are very litigious, that they don't pay anybody. Now listen, good luck to you, Stephen. I hope that you get your $20,000. But for future reference, honey, listen. Don't work for somebody for 3 years without getting paid. Anyway, on to the show. So when the show starts off, you see Danielle showing up to Envy. And did anybody notice on the outside the sign said Envy by Melissa Gorga? I said, oh my gosh, this woman. Anyway, I was really excited that Melissa allowed her to come into her established store, and put up her pop-up shop for her children's line, which she calls Bougie Kids. I think the pop-up shop did great. Danielle sold out of most of her stuff that she brought in, and if I had a little girl or a little boy, I would buy stuff from Bougie Kids. Well, it depends on how much, because if I can get it at the Target or the Walmart, I'm not shopping at Bougie Kids. But I might buy 1 or 2 little items. Then they talk about the wedding again when Jennifer shows up. And did you guys notice they were able to have this conversation quietly? I thought, you guys are in Melissa's establishment. We're whispering. Danielle did get a little bit loud, but that's Danielle. But it wasn't anything embarrassing. I said, so you guys do know better. You can behave. They didn't show the hell out at Melissa's establishment. I'm just saying. Jen asked her, did she want to change her mind about being in Teresa's wedding? I said, shit. We don't talk about this again. Now listen, I have not drank the Kool-Aid, but I was team Melissa here a little. Melissa, I understand Melissa saying no to Teresa's invite. At the time when Teresa asked her, she said, do you want to be in the wedding? You already knew this woman wanted to be in this wedding. So I would have said no as well. I think that there's been too many things that have happened. It's too much going on. So I think that Melissa is right by saying no, she doesn't want to be in the wedding. She's going to try to let everything go, her hurt feelings, and just try to go on this trip to Ireland and see what happens. Now then they go to Danielle talking about Rachel, and Rachel telling Marge what she said, and Marge being upset with her, and then coming back calling Rachel a rat. And I said, okay now. You doing too much. Because I saw in the preview where later you told information that Jen told you. So are you a rat as well? You've got to keep that same energy. You were angry with Rachel because Rachel repeated what you said. And now you're repeating what Jen told you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Danielle, I was with you until that. And I'm one of those people that I'm with you when you right, but I'm going to tell you how it is when you're wrong. That was bullshit. No, ma'am. I also need Danielle to let it go. You keep on being fly at the mouth in your confessionals. You fly at the mouth, when you're talking to the other girls. But as soon as you get in front of Marge and Rachel, they shut you down so fast. Girl, if you can't bring that same energy to Rachel and Marge, let it go, honey, because you're not winning. Just let it go. So then the girls are all packing. They're getting ready for this trip. And listen, the only thing that I like about Marge is her dog. That dog, Bella, is the cutest little thing. I'm sorry that she has to be bothered with Marge and Joe. I'd like to have her. I'm just saying. Now, Dolores and Paul have found a beautiful castle for the girls to stay in. And the more and more that I see Dolores and Paul, when they're not talking about Frank, I like them. And I saw the sneak peek for next week's episode. And when Dolores is talking to the girls about possibly getting married to Paul, listen, I teared up a little. I want that for Dolores. I want Dolores to be married, and I want her to have the whole fairy tale wedding. I want her to have the bachelorette party. I want them to make it about Dolores. You know what I mean? I want that happiness for her. So, maybe I'll give Dolores and Paul a little bit of a break. I just don't like this whole storyline with Frank. And another thing that I don't like is they kept making it seem as if we were going to spend some time with Frank's new girlfriend, Brittany. Why the hell don't we ever see Brittany? And why is it that Jackie Mellencamp, friend of, and Jen Fessler got to go on this trip to Ireland? I'm tired of Jackie Mellencamp. Oh my goodness. One good thing about Jackie Mellencamp, though, when they were in Ireland and they were sitting down at the table to have a little lunch, I noticed Jackie had a little tummy, and that made me smile. And the reason I smiled is because Jackie's getting better. She's eating. And she looks amazing. That did make me smile. I said, oh, wow, she's getting the hang of this. And, her eating disorder is getting so much better. I'm proud of Jackie when it comes to that. But she still don't need to be on this show. So everybody's talking about the psychic. Now listen, honey, listen. We all know that lady is full of shit. I mean, all the ladies were talking about how they know that Jennifer set them up, how Jennifer had downloaded that lady all the information that was going on in the group. And as soon as they go to Joe and Melissa says, well, the psychic was telling us, and next thing you know, here's Joe. What did she tell Teresa? Then the conversation moved to Teresa. I said, daggone it. Can you let her tell you about the psychic? Don't you have anything else going on in your lives before you have to, what'd you say about Teresa? I mean, let it go already. Anyway, I'm going to move on for these idiots. Now, Jen. Oh, Lord. Jen is at the house talking to Bill. And she says she's just going to go on this trip. She's going to have an open mind. She's going to leave Marge alone because, what Marge did is affecting their children. And she doesn't think that's right. She, refuses to forgive Marge because Marge upset her children. Now, listen, I'm here for it. If Marge had exposed my real life affair on national TV, that I managed to control myself enough to hold it from my family, my kids, and my friends, I would be mad as hell. It could have become violent because I don't condone violence, but I can be violent. Anyway. I get it. I would not forgive Marge. I'm going to move on, but I'm not going to forgive you or forget. And if you say hi too fast, I might pop you. Anyway, moving on, because I'm not violent. But her and Bill's having this conversation, and she's letting Bill know that she really appreciates that he's been going to therapy with her, and it would help her a lot if he would stop spending so much time in that pool house and spend a little more time with her in the house with the kids when he's not at work. Now listen, I realize that he is the breadwinner. I know that she does get a check for being on the Housewives, but majority of their money comes from Bill. And I realize that it must be a very stressful job. He is dealing with people's lives every day. I get that. And I know that sometimes he might need to just take a few moments for himself, but spending all of that time in that pool house, now listen. If I was Jen, and I have told him over and over and over again that I need him to be more available to the children, more available to me, and all he continues to do is to spend all his time in that pool house, he is liable to come home and find a bulldozer in the backyard where I have torn that damn pool house to the ground. Because I'm only going to tell you a couple times. After that, I don't play with you. I'm just serious. I'll tear that bitch to the ground. Anyway, Bill seems as if he heard. He seems as if he understands the ask. But his face to me still says that Bill is checked out. His face to me still says that once the last child has graduated and headed off to college, Bill is out. I think that Bill is ready to hit the road. I'm just saying, we'll see what happens.
Like maybe it wouldn't have been a big deal if I said yes, or are you still good with your decision?
Oh no, I definitely would
You're
never
definitely
have said
okay.
yes.
You can always change your mind.
I don't want to change my mind. She threw me under the bus, and I did not throw anybody ever under the bus. You could vouch for me.
Yep.
Teresa could vouch for me. What I saw that day, I saw a rat. When somebody tells you something, and then you run back and tell them, that's a rat.
It's absolutely impossible to communicate with him, to like talk straight without this like theatrical anger, and it's very unhealthy.
I don't know about you guys, but I brought sleepy time tea for the plane.
Vodka and Xanax. And we're going to be staying in a 400-year-old castle.
Is it haunted is the million-dollar question.
You had sex with James Gandolfini?
I met James Gandolfini before The Sopranos. I was obsessed.
He had that sex appeal to him.
Big
that
dick
like
energy.
He actually took me to an S&M bar. It was crazy. And we hung out, and we drank, and we went back to his apartment, and we...
when he died, and I got so upset, and just like you realize like you weren't in a relationship with him. Like we're married. Like
He was so the one that got away, but he was also the one that was never really there. But he absolutely was inside me. That is a fact. More than once.
When they get to the airport, I cracked up because Melissa says, I've got the sleepy time tea for the plane, everybody. And Jen Fessler says something about she brought vodka and Xanax. Now, honey, listen, I'm here for the vodka. That'll put me out. Just add something to it because I can't drink any straight drinks. Put a little juice on it. Put a little cranberry or something. But I don't want them Xanax. Lord, give me a half a daggone Xanax and I'll be asleep for 7 days. No, ma'am. Just hand me the vodka. When they get on the shuttle bus to go to the castle, as soon as Dolores says that that castle is 400 years old, I said, oh, hell no. Point me to the Marriott. Now, listen, anything built before 1980, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't want it. I'm not going to buy it. And I don't want to stay the night there. I know that it's crazy. Okay? I might need a little therapy. I know that. But I think everything that's old is haunted. I really do. And, no ma'am. No ma'am, no ma'am. I couldn't stay at that castle. I mean, it's really pretty and everything. But I agree with Melissa. I would have to share a room with one of the girls because I can't be alone. I can't be alone. I don't want any extra ghosts checking on me. You know, I remember one time when I used to live in an apartment The lady in the apartment next to mine, which I didn't really know her, we would just say hi and bye, from time to time as we were going into our apartments. One day she informed me that her mother had passed away and her mother lived in the apartment. And she said sometimes she sees her mom in the apartment. And I said, oh shit, I hope she doesn't forget and come into my apartment. I don't want to see your mama. And I didn't say it out loud, but I said it in my head. And no thank you. I don't do ghosts. I really don't. Anyway, Dolores tells them that since she usually gives away the best rooms, she's going to take the best room this time, and the second best room is going to go to Teresa, and then the rest of the girls are going to draw. So honey, listen, they drew out the hat. I don't know what happened, but Jennifer got the best room. I didn't really like that room Dolores was in. And Marge, she got the worst room, and I was really excited for it. I hope she falls off that tiny bed. Anyway, if I was Dolores, I would have told Jennifer there's been some sort of mistake. We gonna switch. There's no way in hell that I would have gave Jennifer that room. Yes, I'm being petty, but daggone it, I would take that room. And you know what? I don't even know why Jackie was even asking about rooms. You a friend of. They should have put her down in the torture chamber in the basement of the castle. So on that bus, when Jen F said that she slept with James Gandolfini, I said, the first thing I thought about was that song. And I was like, oh my God, what is you doing with Tony Soprano? And the fact that she cried and had a fit after the man passed away and her husband said you weren't married to him. I understand her crying though, because I've seen her husband. Anyway, I'm just going to move on.
I just want to remind everybody we're not in New Jersey anymore. And kind of calm down everybody and not be rude. Jackie the other night at the house when you were calling out the coffee reader was
Well, I didn't
rough.
want her to do my reading.
That was Jennifer's fault.
I asked Jennifer, I'm like, what did you tell her? She's like, I just told her me and Margaret had a fight.
When she said the word endorsement, I was like,
So you possibly could have told her these things and with no recollection.
that could be true.
Oh my God.
You know what? There's a lot of that L said that I will never repeat.
So Laura's saying accurate.
The woman said a lot of crazy things about you, and I was just telling her just to be aware.
What did she come out and say?
She said things that I wouldn't even repeat. So
There's a family involved, and something very similar was done to me last year, and it did end up being true. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and do something to somebody that's almost extremely similar to what was done to me.
What is it?
Them. He opened the back seat of a car, and he saw Melissa in the back seat with a guy. And the person who claims he witnessed it told Margaret that they were making out.
She was making out with somebody else? So Margaret is the one saying
Yes, Margaret is saying it.
So she really does have an arsenal on everybody.
She does. Margaret is the one who knows all this stuff. And if you piss off Margaret, she pays you back. Just don't say anything.
I am not
Don't
saying
even touch
anything.
it. Let it.
All right, I'm gonna take a picture of right here, and let's see what he says. All right, I'm gonna send that to you. Joe, answer me. What he saying? What he saying? He goes, who's that?
right, but you are through obligation. I was what? You are invited,
You think because of obligation?
Back that up. Oh, we're a family, and you don't really know what you're talking about.
My brother, he could have just simply called me and this would have been all resolved.
And that's why you said what you said. I know that.
Thank you. I'm the coolest sister, but then you try to make me look bad. Don't throw me under the bus. I never throw him under the bus.
So when they get down there for lunch, I appreciate that Dolores tried to talk to them as if she was their mama. She reminds them that they are not back home in New Jersey. They are in a whole nother country in Ireland. These people don't know them and that they need to try to be respectful. And she pointed out that Jackie Mellencamp was rude to the psychic tea drinking reading lady. And Marge turned it on Jen. Now listen, honey. Jen, girl, I don't know why she even argued and fussed about this. She should have just gave it up and said, you guys are right. called the woman. And that's something. Did you guys notice, for some reason, Jen just tells everybody everything. And Jen doesn't have a clue how to shut the hell up. And the way she just tells people that she just met all of the business, it would start to make me wonder, should I be talking to Jen at all? You know, let's keep it straight casual with her, because she can't shut the hell up. She tells everything. Jen says that she didn't tell the psychic lady about Laura. I think she's absolutely lying. She admitted to telling the psychic woman that she was in a fight with Marge. So I'm absolutely positive you told that girl about Laura. Everything that lady was saying was straight from Jen. So stop that lie. Now, when they were talking crap about that lady Laura didn't appreciate that. She went out on social media and she read them for filth, okay? And when I say she read them for filth, I'm talking about she went for Marge, Melissa, Rachel, Jackie, and Jen Fessler. She wasn't here to play with they butts. She said, wow, I guess those 3 interviews really paid off, because, you know, she interviewed 3 times to be on the show and she didn't get hired. She said, they have dedicated the whole season to me. This clip is so riddled with nonsense from people who have no clue what they're even talking about. Taking the word of a wicked, morally corrupt spin doctor fraud is mistake number 1. Trust me, she'll screw them over the minute it suits her, if she hasn't already. I just hope they don't lend her money. This is all coming from a new friend that crawled out of Siggy's woodwork and up Margaret's ass. Oh my Lord. I think that part was about Jen Fessler. The first part was Marge, I think. Someone who has never met me, and the other one is boring, bitter, and demoted housewife whose name people have already forgotten. Go ahead, follow your good friend blindly off the cliff. Oh shit. That was after Jackie Mellencamp. Anyway, she says, I stand by every word that has come out of my mouth as accurate as it has been, exactly as it was told to me by Margaret. The truth doesn't ruin people. It holds them accountable. Yes, it is true that the vicious backstabbing wretch should have thought of the people that it would hurt when she was repeating more than one friend's dirty laundry. All right now, that's the truth. As Rachel Fuda said this season, I don't see a problem with repeating what was said. The actual problem is that they said it in the first place. Why not hold the people who started the rumors accountable? Also, they should get their facts straight and stop believing the one-sided, biased lies that they are being fed. It's possible, because anything is possible, but not actually possible that any right-thinking individual would believe this was all over one missed Christmas dinner. It takes a lot more than a holiday dinner to turn me. FYI, we stopped speaking before Christmas. Not being there for the holidays was a hurtful, unfortunate result of our argument. To be perfectly clear, I was not the one who ended our friendship. I gave her months to make up and make it right. She chose not to. P.S. My husband wouldn't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. Maybe your husband would, Jen Fessler.
Damn.
Listen, I don't know why we have Jen Fessler or Rachel on this season. They should have definitely brought Laura on, because it seems like Laura has some information. Not only that, it seems that Teresa has become friends again with Danielle Staub. Now, I don't know if Danielle is coming back, but if she is, I say welcome. Anyway, Melissa on Watch What Happens Live was trying to make fun of Laura, saying that she had auditioned to be on the Housewives 3 times and didn't get hired. Well, you know, Laura didn't have a sister-in-law that was all ready to star the show. You know, Laura didn't have the phone numbers to all the producers so that she can call and throw her sister-in-law under the bus. You should really shut up, Melissa. Did anybody notice Marge's face and that Melissa looked down when Jennifer said at lunch that she wasn't going to say all the things that Laura had told her? I think Marge is scared shitless that the things that she has told Laura is going to come out. Marge and Laura had been friends since they were 12 years old. Laura knows where the bodies are buried, and Marge doesn't want any of that out. That's another reason she should be on the show. Now, Danielle, I don't know why at that table she had to be so damn nosy. Well, what did she say? Well, what did she say? She just laid on it over and over and over again. And then when they went upstairs, it didn't take much for Jen to tell her everything. I said, well, what? Now, Jennifer, I'm usually right there with you. But you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You were upset with Marge for telling your business and hurting your children. But you just told this story about Melissa. Whether it's true or false, Melissa has kids, and her children could be affected as well. This is absolutely something that you could have talked to Melissa about off camera, or you could have just held it. You really didn't need to put this out there and tell Danielle. So I'm sorry, you wrong for that. Now, Danielle, we saw you in the previews. I can't remember who you were talking to, but you repeated what Jen told you, which makes you just as much a rat as Rachel. You wrong for that. Both of you are absolutely wrong, and you crossed the line. However, that story, I believe it. I think Melissa has cheated on Joe. Because if I was Melissa, I would have cheated on Joe. Let me just move on. I'm just saying. We saw Danielle say that she wouldn't say a word. That's a damn lie. That's a lie. So later when they're at dinner, Danielle says something about, do you guys send sexy pictures to your husband on vacation? And Jen Fessler, no. Like, girl, we seen your husband. We know why. Anyway, then Danielle wants to send a picture of the top of her boob to Joe to see if he realizes it's not Melissa. That is a no-go for me. That is a you are crossing the line for me. That is a keep my husband's name out your mouth for me. I don't play these games. I'm not sending any photo of you in any capacity to my husband. That is a no-go. The hell? Anyway, they sent a picture and Joe recognized that was not Melissa's top of her boob and said, who is this? Then they go over this whole bridesmaid thing again because Jen Fessler is throwing herself in the conversation. I know you're trying to be full-time. I get you, girl. It's not your business. Stay the hell out of it. And they go back and forth again about Melissa's mom being invited to the wedding. Rachel makes some kind of comment that her sister-in-law's mom is invited to everything. Well, congratulations to your sister-in-law's mama. But everybody doesn't invite their damn in-laws' parents to everything. If I was getting married next Saturday, I wouldn't think that my sister's mother-in-law needed to be invited to my wedding unless I was close to that woman. It's just not something that you say, my brother's got this wife and she's got this mama. We need to invite her to everything. And no, you don't have to do that. It's not a big deal. I did agree with Teresa when she said if Joe would have called her and said, hey, please don't forget to invite Melissa's mom, she would have invited Melissa's mom, even though she didn't really want to. I think that Teresa would have. But then she makes some kind of stupid comment. She never throws Joe under the bus. I said, oh, gosh, Teresa, what?
I beg you, please stop.
Teresa, okay, so now you are really pissing me off and on the delusional bus. You have thrown Joe under the bus multiple times, as well as he throws Teresa under the bus. Both of you are terrible siblings. You really are. You don't know how to have a conversation without yelling and screaming, fussing and fighting, and you're just a pain in the ass. Both of you. And then when you add Melissa, it's just even worse. And then you have Louie, who acts a little crazy. The crying, the pajamas, the flaming red face, the therapy, the down on his knees, the hollering and screaming. It's all just crazy. It's nuts. Ooh, that's a roller coaster I'd like to get the hell off of. Anyway, Jen makes some kind of comment at the table and Marge definitely gets involved when she should just shut the hell up. She says that Teresa invited Melissa to the wedding as an obligation. I said, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I wasn't mad. Not at all, because it was just a little taste of her own medicine. Remember at the christening when Teresa asked Joe why he invited her, and Melissa's sister said it was a technicality or something like that.
Why'd you invite me then?
It was a technicality, I think.
Excuse me?
I think it was a technicality.
Don't even talk.
What goes around comes around. I'm just saying. However, it really wasn't Jen's place to jump in there. Teresa didn't need any backup. So, Jen, you should really stay out of it, especially now that you have thrown Melissa under the bus and put her business out here in front of her family, and you could possibly hurt her children the way yours were. Anyway, peeps, get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.